What's up, everybody? Good evening. Happy Thursday. Happy hangout. We are here to just talk random topics and stuff, including stuff that was sent in via Instagram and social media. This is our 42nd time going through this, and I guess that means we're getting close to a year. I'm Joey here with the Ryans and Steve and Adam. And good to, see everyone again, but good to see you all again. How have you guys been? What's new with you in life, in cards and everything?
I got a handful of updates, so I don't want to monopolize, so I think I'll kind of kick off the discussion. So Ryans and Adam, why don't you guys fill us in a little bit, and then I'll take the lead at the end. And Adam, is that a Jimi Hendrix t-shirt you're wearing tonight?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely love it.
Thanks.
Nice. Is there a specific occasion or just showing some love?
Just the shirt that I put on in my closet.
No.
Very specific.
Our wives would not be able to fathom such processing.
Yeah, my wife can't fathom most things I do, so it'd be nothing new. Well, I guess while I'm wasting time talking about nothing, I can show a couple of cards I got in. This one here the other day. I only had a black one touch. It works, whatever.
That's nice. Nice elite John Havlicek patch auto. Is that from 09-10?
That sounds right. Yeah, 09.
Or maybe 11-12.
10-11, right?
10-11, I think is what it is.
Nice.
And then got this one in as well.
Ooh. What is that number to? That's the Moses Malone triple threads.
Yeah, number to 9.
Number to 9.
Havlicek was number to 5.
Nice.
Havlicek, prime 2-color pieces are just so tough in auto form. So that was just a really nice find. I got lucky finding that one on Heritage, and I bid on it with 7 seconds left before the extended bidding. Was able to get it for probably a fourth of what I would have paid for it on eBay.
So on Heritage, does that mean, I don't know anything about what the different auction houses, their features or whatever, but is Heritage usually super high number, high value stuff?
No, they're all over the place. They have stuff that's very low to very high, but their niche is not really modern basketball. Vintage in baseball is definitely their sweet spot, but they had a decent number of unique basketball cards, and I was able to bid on a few of them before the extended bidding ran out. One thing that's nice with most of them is they all have their own form of extended bidding, and I actually prefer the way they do it. If you haven't bid prior to the extended bidding period, you can't. And that's usually in my favor because I'm usually more kind of in line with all the bids and get them in time. But this time I was running behind. So I just happened to see that was the last one I saw as time was expiring, was able to put a bid on it. But a lot of places have been recently doing open extended bidding, which is just pointless to me. It's why not just run the auction longer or something? It doesn't make any difference if everyone that's never bid on it can still bid on it 2 hours after the actual hammer time of the normal auction period. So I do like that it ends quickly, but yeah, it was just, I got lucky on that one and missed out on a few others.
That's really interesting. What auction houses do the open bidding?
Fanatics started doing it recently, and I believe Golden as well is doing it now. Alt as well is another one. All of them are doing bidding to where you can basically, all ends tonight, and I never look at it until 11:30 or midnight, just because even though it ends at 9 or 10 o'clock, it's going to go on for hours no matter how many people bid on that item. And theirs is the worst, in my opinion, because it's not just individual card based. It's if anyone's bid on anything in the entire auction, it resets the bid for all of them. So yeah, so you could be bidding on something that's $10 and nobody cares about. And if somebody's bidding on a $180,000 card every 10 minutes, it's just going to keep on resetting the timer over and over and over again. So there's times where I'll be bidding on something and nobody's bid on the item I'm winning. And I'll go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and I wake up and I lost it. It's there wasn't a bid from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. I found a way to lose it. So yeah, it's annoying. I hate that process. That's the worst one in my opinion.
Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating. I don't understand the logic behind that at all.
I'm sure it's just people are probably seeing that they're going to win something and trying to bundle something cheaper, I'm guessing, is maybe the idea. I'm about to win a $10,000 item. If I can get combined shipping or something on $5 items, who cares at that point, kind of thing. I don't know, but it seems counterintuitive to the people who are trying to buy multiple items. There's no real sense of urgency like you get from the other ones.
Well, congrats. Those are 2 awesome cards. Both of those were from Heritage or what?
No, the one was from eBay, the Moses, and then the Havlicek was from Heritage. You just don't see that kind of stuff for Havlicek. I looked, and I think it's been 3 years since a 2-color stitch patch auto sold on eBay.
Wow.
So,
are his regular memorabilia cards also scarce patches or? Okay.
They're fairly scarce. I wouldn't say nearly as scarce as the autograph variations.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've never seen a stitched on-card autograph patch auto of him. I don't think.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty hard to find.
That's cool. Yeah, Elite Black Box was really cool. That was
it's a cool set. Yeah.
Yeah.
I much prefer the kind of frame sticker autos versus the sticker auto on the surface of the card. Both triple threads there of the Moses and the black box do that. I think it's a way better look than just like a shiny surface with a sticker on top. Just looks terrible.
Yeah. Nice. Well, congrats on those. I don't know which Ryan wants to start us off, but if either of you guys have any life news, hobby news.
Let non-glasses Ryan start. Go for a man.
I'm happy to go. His point was perfect. I loved that little cutout that they used to put inside those Flair Showcase autograph cards. Those were just so cool, and they even had the little Flair insignia behind it, so it almost looked like an on card. They could really fool you, making you think it was an on card. It didn't look like a sticker at all. The two cards that I picked up were actually a couple 101s. They are Dennis Johnson from the Leaf set. One of them is, I think, the silver 101. One of them is the green 101. One won at auction. The other one I won just as a buy it now. Love those 101s. I'm going for the rainbow. I actually have no idea why there was two 101s, so I'm a little confused by that. But I'm like, can't just let it go. Right? Gotta get them all.
I mean, if you're going for the rainbow, yeah. What year is that from?
That's from 2026. So it's right now. Current. I'm not ripping any of that stuff though. It's so expensive to rip that stuff. But to grab that stuff as it hits the market, I love it. Secondary, perfect.
I'd recommend you do a deep dive into the checklist, Ryan, because it'll answer a lot of questions. Because Leaf does some really funky stuff with 101s. One of the rainbows I'm chasing, they did a really interesting thing where the card was like it's a patch auto, right? And so the card is a white back with a patch and an auto on it, player picture. And the parallels are foil numbered parallels, right? So like the purple's the 101, the blue might be out of 5, the red's out of 5, whatever. There's a platinum blue out of 25. Then for each of those foil colors, they have a black 101. So instead of the white background, it's a black background. They have the purple 101, the platinum blue 101, the red 101. So Leaf can do some really funky stuff with 101s, and sometimes they'll do each foil color has its own 101 because one will have it. So it's interesting to dig into their checklist and know exactly what you're chasing, but also just to kind of wonder why they do some of the things they do, and especially when you like one of their sets. And we've talked about, I like that set a lot, so I would dig into it.
Well, and it's Brian Price, I think, is the person that is the person that's responsible for Leaf and has been doing all the Leaf stuff for all the years. And I love being able to look on the back of these cards and seeing the same people's names, even though sometimes it's a different product, right? Looking on the back of Upper Deck cards, you always saw the same name, same thing on the back of Topps cards.
It's interesting. I wonder if, like, you guys were talking about why there's two 101s and Steve, like the different colored foil 101s. Is that all that different from Topps and Panini with their multiple, like black finite, black disco, black shimmer 101s? I mean, it seems pretty similar to me.
At least in the set that I'm chasing, it is, because Leaf doesn't have like retail releases. They don't have international releases, where a lot of what Panini does is they have like different versions of releases and then have a 101 that ties into each of that. Whereas Leaf they have like proof print 101s where instead of putting the sticker auto on it, they put a proof sticker on it. They do all kinds of weird stuff, but it all comes out of the same, rip, whether it be a 1 card per box rip or a hobby rip. It's all the same, product line.
Gotcha. Well, awesome. Those are really cool, Ryan. And I think Dennis Johnson stuff's pretty scarce too, right? I mean, I don't feel like there's a ton of his memorabilia out there, autos or whatever. So yeah, very cool. Congratulations.
That one came up auction from a family member, and it hit Heritage, and then it was purchased by Leaf. So that's really the only way that those pieces can come up anymore. And I have this argument with my local LCS guy because he's like, why do they got to take jerseys like that and cut them up? And I'm like, well, it's because those family members need a little bit of money. And they had a family member who had this really, really amazing past and background, and they were able to capitalize on it a little bit. And then, the people that bought it invested in it, and then they wanted to cut it up and they wanted to give me an opportunity to get a small piece of it. And now I'm buying as many of those small pieces as I possibly can. I'll put the jersey back together.
Oh, yeah, you should, and then display it in like a jersey frame. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation, right? I mean, are there like, do game worn jerseys, are they defamed or whatever by cutting them up? I mean, obviously as card collectors, I don't think we would feel that way. I don't know if any of you guys have thoughts on that. Like, do jerseys deserve to be kept whole? I don't know.
I have jerseys hanging all over my house.
Yeah.
I'm not a baseball fan, but I've got a World Series jersey because what Pablo Sandoval did for San Francisco was just amazing, and I wanted a piece of that. I wanted that patch on the arm hanging on my wall. I'm not a Sharks fan, but I've got a big Sharks jersey hanging on my wall. But I do have some beautiful jerseys, and I've got some beautiful basketballs. I do think there is a value to having it framed, but I'm at the heart a card collector. I can't take those beautiful jerseys and put them in boxes and organize them and have them be numbered or anything like that. So I love being able to collect kind of both sides of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really cool. I think that's interesting because from the card perspective, the organization is really the differentiator, right? Because I mean, yeah, you could put jerseys in a frame or jerseys on a wall or even jerseys in your closet, but then that's all they are. Not that that's bad or makes cards better, but it's I guess a good differentiating point. Does anyone else have any thoughts on the memorabilia? I know, Adam, you have a bunch of jerseys, right?
Yeah, I have a few, not a bunch of basketball, but mostly football game used, and a few basketball, a few baseball. But for me, I think the significance of the particular item is what goes into whether it should be cut up. So like, obviously we've seen that they've cut up from the likes of like no-name players all the way up to like Babe Ruth jerseys. And Babe Ruth obviously played with a number of them. So like a random Babe Ruth jersey, even though the most random one is still significant, there are more significant ones available. So the idea of cutting up one that isn't the most significant isn't that concerning to me. But there are times where like there is an item that is of utmost significance and they do get cut up. And I do think that's a little sad, even if I am a card collector. So I think it really just depends on kind of the situation.
What if they're cut up and put into a card that commemorates that moment, like a finals used jersey, or I don't know. I mean, I'm not a baseball historian, but like
Sure.
Babe Ruth's most famous game or whatever, and they cut it up into a set that commemorates that moment or that game.
I don't like it personally. I don't know. I think it'd be cool to own it. Like once it was already defamed, if you will, I would be like, that's cool. I want one of those. But like, I wouldn't be the person to be like, hell yeah, let's cut that thing up right now. It'd be hard for me to look at like a thing of scissors and a called shot Babe Ruth jersey and be like, the two of these should meet each other and I should put them in little pieces of cardboard. Like, I don't think that should happen. But I mean, I think there's a happy medium where you find a jersey where it's like, oh, this was the last jersey Babe Ruth wore and he was the decrepit version of himself. Let's use that one for cards. I don't know. It's still significant, still incredible. It's still worth a bunch of money, but it's not the most significant. The best example that I can think of is on the topic of Leaf. I believe it was them that did it. Vezina is like the greatest goalie of like the pre-war era in hockey, and he used one set of goalie equipment basically his entire career, and they bought it and they cut it up and put it into cards. And like a ton of hockey people were up in arms over it because it's the one. Like there is no other options. There's no other comparisons. The only one available was cut up and put into cards. So as a card collector, it's cool. Like you get a piece of something that is unbelievably iconic. But as a fan of the game, you almost say like, wow, there was no other options we could find other than this to cut up. And now there's none like that lasts any longer. I don't know. I feel like there's kind of a happy medium we have to find.
Yeah.
Kind of perfect scenario was when Wilt Chamberlain's floor that he scored the 101 points on, or the 100 points on, got cut up because I mean it's old, it's wood, it's got to get replaced. I got a piece of that.
That's so cool.
I didn't ask.
Yeah, that's perfect because there is no value to using it in its full form. You know what I mean? Like nobody's going to buy an entire gym that isn't worth using as a gym anymore and keep it in as its one piece. So like that's a perfect example of repurposing it and making more out of it. So yeah, I like that a lot. But at the same time, if like the 100-point game from Wilt Chamberlain jersey was available to be put into cards, I would say we shouldn't do that. But I'm sure there's people that would love that. And if they did it, I would definitely buy one. So like, I'm again a hypocrite, but I wouldn't be the one pushing for it to happen.
I don't know that I would call that a hypocritical statement. I think that's your preference, but you'll take advantage of the fact that, because the beauty of cutting it up is that more people get to enjoy it. So you would just take advantage of that to be one of those people. I'm not judging you. What's up, Aaron? What's up, Darren? Oh, thanks for hanging out. Ryan, Glast Ryan, how you doing? What's going on with you?
Glast Ryan, I like that. Oh, not much, man. Just burn out from working for the week. I don't have any card pickups. I've actually been really obsessed with this little like handheld gaming unit that I got. It looks like a Switch, but it actually plays like retro games, and it's an Android device. So that's what's cool. Been taking up my time, like configuring that thing.
That's like preloaded with games from decades.
You kind of load it yourself. So it's like, think about like just owning an Android phone, and they have like a bunch of emulators that you can get through the Play Store. Well, this is like the same thing. You can use it, but it's got controls built into it. So so I play, retro games on there, some Android games. It plays up to like Switch and PS2 and potentially PS3. I'm working on getting those to work. But yeah, that's kind of my other nerdy hobby is emulation of video games. And I don't know if I probably haven't showed it off. I've showed it in some of the group chats, but I like standing up like arcades and repurposing old arcades and stuff like that. I've been doing that for years. So, but yeah, no cards, sadly. But I do have some cards for like the topics we'll get into. So I'll save those for that time.
What are your games of choice these days?
I've been playing. So I'm kind of like a PC gamer at heart. There's this series called Gothic, and it came out in the early 2000s, and they released it on the Switch. And so this thing's like power enough to actually play it. I've had like other devices where even though it's a 20-year-old game or whatever, actually longer than that at this point, 25 years old or something, it's just never been able to emulate very good. So I would be playing it with a keyboard and mouse back in the day, and now I can do it on this like little handheld device, which is basically like a phone. That's just like cool to me. So okay. So yeah, that's kind of that, and then just I don't know, Super Nintendo stuff or Genesis, like Earthworm Jim or something I was playing the other night. That was pretty fun.
Nice. Yeah, I had a little kick a year or two ago where I'd like go online and find emulators, because they have emulators online, web-based emulators.
Yeah.
I'd play Super Mario RPG or whatever, just go back to those old games. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. It is. And what's good about it too is like you can power it up, play for like 10 minutes. I mean, I don't have any time in my life to like dedicate to like sitting down and playing a whole game. So it's kind of cool to just fire it up, play an old retro game for 10, 15 minutes, set it back down.
Yeah, for sure. Gary says he has something like that for his commute. What's up, Gary? I hope that means you take the train or the bus or something. Or maybe otherwise you're just endangered society. But
he's not driving with his knee playing it.
Yeah. And put his Tesla on auto steer or whatever.
Yeah. I found that.
Very cool. Nice. Steve, you want to, or should I go, Steve, since you're going to introduce? Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, it's been a while, so I had a lot going on recently, not card related per se. Just like had family in town a couple weeks ago. I was hoping to like still come hang out, but my brother-in-law, who lives actually in Boston now, Steve, he's in Boston through next summer, so he's leaving summer of 2027. So he came to town a couple weeks back, and I didn't end up being able to jump on. And then last week was my last week of school, so I'm officially off of work. Well, the way it feels is now that I'm a full-time parent, I am off of my vacation and now I'm working. So summer is tough. I like lose my structure. I'm a parent of 3 kids under 6, and so I feel like now I'm really I'm no longer on vacation. So that's
kind of real job.
Yeah, that's the real job. Yeah. Oh dang. Q's Cardboard is saying that they've got 2 weeks left in New York. I don't know, Steve, are you guys done or almost done? Or
no, we got another week and a half up here.
Okay.
We start later, and then we have weather cancellations and stuff. So we lost about 5 days during the school year for snowstorms. We had some pretty big blizzards this year.
Gotcha.
We go to the end of June.
That's wild. That's how it was when I was growing up. I mean, I would always go to the end of June, the third week of June or something, but it slowly crept before Labor Day, and now we start our first day of school at the end of summer is like mid-August, August 15th or something. So
Oh yeah, no. September 2nd for me next year will be the first day first day back with kids. I go back into August, but
right.
yeah, I agree. The full-time stay-at-home dad job. Well, I mean, I work over the summer too, but it's part-time, and it's the kid stuff, it's the drop-offs, it's the camps, it's the feeding them, the food shopping, all that with no structure. I completely get it. It just feels like so much more.
And then somehow you're expected to do this long list of home projects and stuff because it's summer, and I'm like, you don't understand that I'm more busy now.
All right, so a couple of updates. One, just be real quick. I'll give a sort of a self plug. I had I got invited to join Caitlin Cold Lunch Cards on the WNBA card podcast, which falls into Stacking Slabs network. So I recorded with her Tuesday night, and that'll drop live. We did a whole episode about. She's doing a series about team fans and team collectors. So we dug into the Connecticut Sun, and hey, Caitlin's with us right now. So we did a whole thing on the Connecticut Sun and what it's like collecting them over their history, as well as what's happening with the team dissolving. So that was really fun. I really appreciated it. The update that I'm going to stare at Adam, I think, while I say this. So I had my 55 card submission from MC assignment finished. It was going live as we were recording last week, Joey. So exactly a week ago. I'm not someone with 4 and 5 figure cards, but I had some cards that I was able to get rid of and raise some funds for. I had some nice stuff. I had a Paul Pierce 0405 limited logos from Exquisite, which is out of 50. It's a patch auto. I had a Immaculate Shaquille O'Neal patch auto out of 15. I had some vintage rookies, mid grades, PSA 6, 7, 8s. I've got Hall of Famers, top 75 guys. And the card that sold the most by over 20% of the second highest selling card was a 1314 Kaboom Nets card, Paul Pierce. And I knew it was going to sell for a lot. I just didn't see it lapping a Shaq patch auto or a Paul Pierce, limited logos. I just didn't see that happening. I knew it was gonna. I put it in that. I'd probably paid $15 for it back when I was just having fun collecting inserts, in 2017 or whatever. I looked it up. I bought it before I joined Instagram, and I joined Instagram in 2018. And I pulled it out of my binder as the first post that I made on Instagram. So I've had it for a decade maybe, and I was like, all right, I can pull this out of a binder and get $900 out of it. I just wasn't expecting it to actually sell for almost $1,000 and be that much higher than the other cards. So very interesting of what's going on in the hobby right now. I will say
that's like state of the current hobby, right?
I know. Kabooms all the way. MC, if anybody, I have no personal affiliation with them. They were excellent. 55 cards sold. Payouts have been coming as they ship out the cards. The payouts, once they have it ready, it hits your account. It's been withdrawals within 24 hours of it hitting my account, straight to my bank account. Out of the 55 cards, a week later, only 2 haven't been paid for. So everything's been pretty on the up and up. All the high-end stuff was paid for right away. So very, very impressed. They had it lit from the moment it got delivered to them. And I mean moment it got delivered, because they scan everything every step of the way. Everything was listed within 25 hours later and ready to go. And I had all the information, text updates, email updates. So definitely, if anybody's looking for a consignment company, I would say $50 or more, and really they specialize in the $500 and above. I wouldn't send $10 cards to them, but definitely highly recommend MC for their consignment. And then I have one mail day, and it kind of ties into something I was thinking about that I saw from Cards today. It's the one mail day, and I know my camera's trash, but so this is we love our silhouettes here. This is a hollow gold Al Horford patch out of 10. Literally just saw this on eBay and just threw in a bid and let it ride out. And I woke up one day to find out that the auto pay went through. But the topic that I wanted to put out there ties into last week. So friend of the show, Carter, posted a couple of Asia Wilson autos on a story today. One had hollow foil, so I'm team hollow foil, and the other was jersey numbered but had the flat foil. And his question was, what do you prefer? So if you're going from, you're at a show and you see one, like Panini does a lot of cards where there'll be an out of 25 hollow version, an out of 25, or maybe it's an out of 35 base foil version, but one's jersey numbered. Anybody have any? I'm team hollow foil. I think the aesthetics of hollow foil outweighs anything despite what I said last week about how much I like jersey number. But I just thought I'd throw it out there for a quick little throw around the horn before we jump into the mailbag stuff.
I don't care at all about jersey numbered, so it's an easy choice for me. Hollow foil by leaps and bounds.
I'd much prefer having something that's low numbered. So I'd take something that's numbered to 25 over something that's numbered 3 out of 45.
So that's probably good you didn't join us last week then, Adam, on the jersey number card.
That's funny. I was gonna say me too. It's good I didn't join last week because I think jersey numbered is silly. No offense.
That was like that was funny.
I mean, all offense, please feel bad about it. For me, it's trying to come up with something. Just the premiums are crazy, I think, especially on like the stuff where you see like, and I get it to a degree, like the cards that aren't as rare, like something numbered out of a 999, getting the jersey numbered is far more hard to get than a person the jersey number 3 getting 3 out of 10. But like the premiums on stuff like that is crazy.
Yep, I agree. Well, that was funny because we were trying to come up with a topic that you were out, Joey, and I just threw that in as like, hey, maybe we can talk about it for 20 minutes, and we somehow threw almost an hour together on that topic. So I guess good we didn't have the haters to bring us down.
We did have one pseudo jersey number comment from the mailbag story. It was from Chad from Pack to the Future podcast, and this made me laugh. But similar to, is it really any more ridiculous than jersey numbers? So he does a lot of Disney stuff, specifically Mickey Mouse and Walt Disney. He actually has some pretty premium stuff, some cut autos and stuff. He gets a kick out of finding, and I'm going to forget the year, and I'm not going to go on my phone, stuff that might be serial numbered 36 out of 100 or 36 out of 200, because that's the year that Mickey Mouse was created. And I don't know if it was 1936. It could be 26 out of 28. So 28 out of 100, 28 out of 200. That's his so he likes character. He doesn't pay up for them, but that's his fun little hunt, is finding character creation date serial numbers. So I thought that was a fun little twist on it.
You just said you didn't pay up for them, and I feel like if jersey numbers didn't have a premium, I think it would be cool. If I could find a number that was somehow significant to me, or I found cool that wasn't jersey number, which means it didn't have a premium, then yeah, I think it would just be a cool way to narrow things down and make it more interesting than, I think, Adam, you mentioned something that's like out of 999.
Question for Adam real quick before we go on. I just found out about this last week and Steve brought it up. Since you collect Disney and stuff, do you do the Alpha and the Omega?
No.
Okay.
I'm not a idiot.
I didn't think you probably
did. Before. I was just going to say the only reason I knew the 28 thing is in Disney, they make a parallel that's numbered to 28 and it's Mickey heads. I don't know if you can make me full screen here.
Oh, yeah.
Super tangent here off the topic. Like all the foiling and like refractor, the base of it is a Mickey head pattern, and they're numbered to 28. That's the only reason I knew it was 1928.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
What is the Alpha Omega for the Disney card ignorant among us?
Yeah, I didn't know this. It's the bookend. You know how the sports card, they started saying bookend? It's like 99 out of 99 or 1 out of 99. I didn't know what that really meant either until I kind of thought about, okay, that makes sense, 99 out of 99. But that's what you have in like Marvel cards and Disney, because you don't have a jersey number for like Donald Duck or something like that. So that's a creation of that side of the hobby, apparently.
Yeah, and the premiums on those are even in like if it's a big card or like something significant, or even more than jersey number. There's a guy that I've kind of gotten to talk to a few times in that space. His name's Thunderbitter. He has some crazy stuff, but he values that stuff at like 2.5x what like $1,000 cards 2,500 because it's 10 out of 10. Like it's just a crazy premium for that. And he admittedly even says, like, I'm sure I value it more than most people, but he thinks it's special. Especially like that card I just showed you, the first year of Disney Chrome. Like if you have 1 of 10, in his mind, it's like it's the first one ever of that run. To me, it's a little gimmicky, but like to him, I get it. Like that's his chase. It's like I'm not going after 1 of 10 cards from the 4th year. I'm going after 1 of 10 cards of the first year. It's the first black of that person, or that character. So like I get it to a degree, but to me, I'd much rather spend 1,000 on something than 2,500 on something, just because of the numbering difference. Like I wouldn't pay 1,100 versus 1,000.
So, do you feel the same way about rookie cards?
I value the first year aspect. I don't value it being number 1 out of 10, being the first one of that first year.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, like that's why like that year of that Captain Hook card I just showed you is like the rookie of every character. It's like that set is the one I buy the most of by far. And that's
Gotcha.
the ones that most people are chasing, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked is because that's kind of my logic with rookie cards. I'm like, why would I buy a rookie card auto for $500 of a guy that I could buy a rookie card, or sorry, second year auto, third year auto, fourth year auto for $100 or $50? Like, just because it came out in his first year, I get the reason it's more expensive, but as a collector, if to me I like both cards equally, it doesn't make any sense.
I know this isn't, nobody cares about Disney cards but me in this conversation, but for me there's a combination of things that go into it. So like the first year of something I think is significant versus just being like the fifth year, not just of the character or the rookie, but of the entire set or the idea of the set. There's some value there, but also like the newest set of Disney cards is the first one that was made for American consumption, and they're made in America, and the print quality is terrible by comparison to the ones of like that one I just showed you. It's like those are like 55 point cardstock, real thick, real sturdy, like really quality. They have really nice like just overall condition to them, I guess you would say, versus the 25 sets, real flimsy, like the most janky version of a chrome set you could think of. So like there's additional aspects and layers to it, like I like for the design, the quality, things like that, other than just being the first year. That just happens to be like an extra layer.
Yeah. Nice. Well, good. So I hopefully that was a big tangent, Steve. We went off based on based on that hollow foil jersey number thing. So hopefully we didn't take too much of the time.
It's the beauty of not having much of an agenda, right? It's just whatever we end up, finding interesting to chat about.
Yeah. What was the next thing that like kind of came in?
So we had a question, just going chronological order. So we have 2 questions that came through Ryan's Instagram, and then I think it was Aaron or Depp. Somebody put one in the chat tonight that we can get to in a second. But Ryan, while I'm talking a little bit, if you want to go to the private chat section of StreamYard, I put links to the 2 Panini releases. So the first question is what our initial thoughts might be about some of the unreleased Panini products. And so the 2 that I'm aware of they have Signature Series, which came out ironically at like the same time that Topps released a licensed set called Signature or something like that. So there was some overlap there in just the release schedules. And then I saw a friend post in a group chat today a preview of an unlicensed version of Court Kings. So I haven't seen anything else. And if Ryan is able to pull it up, maybe we can look at Signature Series first. I think I'm assuming what Carter might be thinking when he asked this question. So he asked, what are our initial impressions of it and thoughts about what they're able to do. And Signature Series looks really nice. It looks like it could be, some of the cards could be as nice as Immaculate. And I think the frustration is a little bit if they could do, zoomed in photos that look really good. There's some stuff in there that looks really classy. They are definitely better at making the card look more professional and licensed than Topps was when Topps was doing unlicensed stuff. So there's not a bunch of janky AI or Photoshop or heads cut off and just put onto animated bodies with random sleeves and everything. The cards are really clean. I think we're going to get people get really sick really fast of cards of people holding a basketball in front of their chest to cover up a team logo. But I think they did a really nice job with Signature Series. Cards were on card autos. I'm assuming the relics are probably all unassociated, but they look good. Some real they did. This is for an unlicensed card. What they have. One of the ones I saw was a Derrick Rose auto where it's a picture. Oh, perfect. Ryan's bringing it up now. So Ryan, if you get a second to scroll down until you see the Derrick Rose card, it's literally like his jersey. So there's no Bulls logo on it. It's the Rose with the back with his number right there. One more. And then they just have 2 pictures of Derrick Rose at the bottom, zoomed in, so sort of portrait style, and then the set name at the bottom. I think that's like a great way to get an on-card auto of some of the all-time greats in an unlicensed product that doesn't look janky or unlicensed. It's team colors. It features the player. I think that's excellent. So there's some stuff in there that they did a really good job on. So I'll pause there and see if anybody else has any feedback on what Panini's been up to recently.
Q's Cardboard mentioned in the chat, and I was going to mention this too, they do have Donruss too. They have 25-26 Donruss that's unlicensed, and it has optic parallels. And I agree with what you said. I think it's high quality. I think they did a good job, like you said, with the photography. And I mean, I think that seems like there's a lot of more stickers than before. I mean, it looks like Signature Series, they did a good job because it seems like it's focused on the signatures. But I mean, I think it's, as a Donruss fan, like I love Donruss. I think as a Court Kings fan, or if you're a Kaboom fan, like that Jaw Kaboom right there, whatever, I think it's great to have options. And I think they did, like you said, a professional job with it. And I've been coming around on the unlicensed stuff a little bit since we had our conversation about it, because if I could get stuff more affordably just because it's officially unlicensed or whatever, it doesn't have the NBA license. Oh, just like it just makes so much sense from a collector perspective. As long as they do a good job hiding the fact with that there's no team logos, they do a good job making it subtle. So I agree.
Yeah, like Ryan, if you can scroll back up to that Edgecombe patch auto. I mean, that's the one that, like, when I first saw it, looks like an immaculate card. There's nothing that jumps out there about. I think they do a nice job of integrating team colors into the design, and editing the images right. So would it be much cooler with, a Sixers logo on and probably a little bigger picture? Yeah, but if you want alternatives and you want some competition, I think it's a very viable option.
Back in 2018, Leaf was releasing product that was similar to this, where they would show the name on the back of the jersey, and then they got sued because they had licensing issues. And then in 2019, they started releasing product with the jersey that showed the number and didn't have the name. And then in 2025, I think they got sued and started releasing jerseys without the number and the name. So I think what we're seeing here is a really, just like you said, Steve, a great opportunity to get into it. But I think ones like that Rose, I think pretty quickly those will go away. I think next year's won't have the name on it. I think 2 years after that, it won't have the number on it. And then 3 years after that, nobody can spell Panini.
Well, I wonder what so they can't do that for modern players in the league because they're covered under the NBA PA. But for retired players, if they get deals with those players, I don't see why not. And some retired players are whores for money. I mean, Larry Bird will sign 24 hours a day if you let him, if you keep paying him. So I think some players you might be able to get away with that on. Yeah, it'll be interesting, and they might just push the boundary and say, let's see how far we can go with it until we get in trouble. So.
The only thing I was going to say, I do think that design looks nice. I wish they would have done like the font for the team rather than like a generic. So if I'm not mistaken, a Red Bulls jersey would have like a black number 1. So like keeping it on theme with like what the team would look like, I think would have been a nice touch without maybe infringing on any of the kind of the contract between not having a license and having one. It's like if you just made that number 1 black versus white, I don't think they could say much about it, but it would be more on brand for like the Bulls jersey, if I'm not mistaken. Just looked a little off to me. There's something there. I think it's a black number.
I actually think that might have been Cavs colors, though. That looked like the Cavs gold and.
Oh, that could be why I'm also thinking.
And why you would do that, but same question, right, Adam? Like, why, if you're going to do unlicensed Derrick Rose, would you make it more for a Cavaliers looking card than a Bulls looking card? But you're either way, you're right. It's just what were they thinking with those?
I actually think it does say Chicago up there. I think it does say Chicago up there.
Oh, look at Mr. I need glasses, but I can still read that tiny font.
It does. I can read it because it's on my screen.
There you go.
I'll make it a little bigger.
Yeah. And Carter has a good point. It does look cool. I like that. Like, it may not necessarily, it's not the most appealing to me personally, but I do like the uniqueness of it as kind of like a shadow box you use for like a jersey framing. Obviously, I think that's what they're going for. But yeah, I mean, it says it right there in the description. But
I don't think it's a bad design. I just think there's something about it that just looks off to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I think you're right.
And I think the frustrating part is there's a lot of stuff that's more creative than what they've been releasing under the license for the last 3 or 4 years. And I think 100%. That's available to be second guessed, right? Like here they're showing some unique designs, some good color schemes, some stuff that they haven't shown before. And they waited until it was all unlicensed to do that. So I think that can be definitely a second guess and a frustration.
It does look like they used 2 of the same face shot images on the pictures too on the bottom. It's like, does the back of that card have a full image of him in that exact pose? Because that is so Panini.
Be very on brand, exactly.
Yeah, it is. It does look like the same exact image there. One is like another card or something almost. That one in the lower left over here.
Yeah, that's weird.
Isn't that like one of those designs almost look like that?
Yeah, the base design. If you go all the way up to the top to the
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah.
Q's cards makes a good point, and I'm sure he's right on this because everything's litigious. Is that many of the teams have trademarked colors and fonts, so that very well could be part of it. I mean, I know for team logos, I'm sure the NBA has, contracted and trademarks with, jersey numbers and nameplates as well. So that could definitely be part of it.
Yeah. Ryan, do you want to pull up Court Kings so we could just kind of see if that brings anything additional? As he scrolls through here, does anyone see anything that adds or takes away from what we've been saying?
On the topic of that first one there, like on the topic of like the trademark of the jersey, that's showing way more of like a uniqueness to that jersey being like a Wizards jersey than having like a black number would have been on that rose. Like I wonder like what the kind of the legality there is in that sense. Because like that one there, like you kind of know what it is versus the other one was just kind of a blank jersey.
Yeah, I wonder like could they trademark the design of like the striping pattern on the jersey? I don't know.
So as Ryan scrolls through this, when I was going through Court Kings, what I got out of this was I appreciate that they are consistent with the design. So when you look at these cards, you're going to be reminded of Court Kings from like I'd say 2016 era through now. But this is where the bore factor hit in for me. Just too many photos of like the sides of players not showing details, not game action. So the cards themselves are well designed, but this was the set where it was just too many of the cover up the logo pictures, too many hide the pictures. It didn't hit home for me. Those same way sort of the more unique style of the Signature Series did.
Did you go back up, Ryan, to that Edgecomb? Do you like that Edgecomb design? I mean, it's a natural way of covering up the logo. It's kind of like an action shot.
Yeah, I think singles, like if I were a player popped up, like if a nice Tatum popped up or something, and it was like I wasn't comparing it, but as you scroll through this, you're going to see many players with that sort of side profile trying to hide the same way, holding the ball up. So you start to see a lot of repetition through the design as far as how they're covering up the logos, and that just, too many of them at once. I just sort of got burnt out on it, so I was going through and looking at the different designs.
Straight like airbrushed on that one, not jaw.
Yeah.
That's kind of difficult part about doing it. Yeah, I think they've done well with what they had. I mean, the side profile, I know what you're saying, Steve. It's like, and even that is kind of airbrushed out. Mm-hmm. But I guess, what can you, I guess, to make your life a little bit easier and not make it look like this jaw here, which is obviously just, airbrushed out of the team logo. I guess you got to do what you got to do, and you pick out some of this boring stuff like this. I mean, this one's okay. This Edgecomb, I actually kind of like that, but it's it's my critique of the cards from probably the last almost decade at this point. It's just been boring when you compare it to old top stuff from the 90s, late 90s, Upper Deck as well. Did a lot of cool like action photography, and now we got guys holding the ball with AI design in the background, which I don't know, some people love that. They prefer the design over the photography itself, but I've always been like a photography kind of not really buff. I don't know the correct terminology to use, but I've always loved photography. And if it's something like, what was it back in the day? Stadium Club, right? Very minimal design. It's almost just like a photo itself, maybe the player's name and a very small logo or something like that. I much prefer that over this of a guy just standing there with some loud background, But that's just me.
The jaw might be a little foreshadowing because I'm not so sure. Memphis might also want to airbrush Grizzlies off the front of his jersey sometime this summer. So we could be looking into the future there with that one.
True.
Is there a? I just drew a blank. Sorry. I did want to say the first impression I got was what you said, Steve. It does look very similar to the Court Kings designs from when it was licensed. It doesn't have that spirit for sure.
That one for sure. I really pronounce that.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
Depp brings up a good spot there, saying that Panini made some beautiful unlicensed baseball stuff, and we had Kansas City Dan on to talk about Optic when we did our unlicensed hangout, and he was a big fan of collecting that stuff. I mean, we'll see if they do the same with Donruss when they release it, but the color of the parallels, he said, was excellent. There was some good photography. It was almost like a Cormier Stadium Club, and I believe he even said they were on-card autos. So a really fun way to do some team collecting stuff. And he said that was pretty artistically done as far as the non-licensed aspect of it with baseball. I do think it's a little bit harder with basketball, just there's not as many angles that work for a card. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what I didn't preview the Donruss at all. I didn't even realize that was popping. So I'll be interested to see what those optic subsets look like.
I think it's already out. I don't know how long it's been out, but I think Donruss has been released. Did they? I know we had talked about this before. Was there an announcement? I've been very, very out of the loop of Stadium Club. Did Topps ever announce Stadium Club? No. Yeah, that's a bummer. Okay, well, hopefully they do at some point. Although we're almost done here with the season and the finals, but we'll see. Steve, you want to take us to the next topic or question that was brought up?
Yeah, so the next question, and I don't have my phone up, Ryan. I don't know if you remember who sent this one over, but just wanted to hear what our thoughts were as far as our favorite die cut inserts throughout the years. So
that was Gray Tree Sports.
Gray Street.
Perfect.
Gray Street. Sorry.
Gray Street.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I've been talking a lot, so I'll be quiet for a few minutes. I did share some with Ryan, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll share yours. We got some of yours that we can share on the screen, but I did pull out some for this. So let's see. So we got SPX.
Nice.
Of course, 96, 97. So this is McDice from that year, and then the gold.
Oh, that gold looks nice. I haven't seen those.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
I don't know as much about the Upper Deck stuff, so I always love to bring that stuff out.
97, 98 SPX. And then this is the auto variation, McDice as well. Always loved those cards, especially that they had a couple that you get. This is technically out of 100, although this one is not numbered. But I did some research, and they did have these. I don't know if they're pack pulled or what, but they're legit. So I was concerned about that before I bought it, even though when I bought it, it was like literally like a $20 card. The Star Power Supreme. That is from, I think that's 98, I want to say. No, sorry, 97, 98. Yeah, so same years as the McDice SPX I just showed. And there's a couple of different variations of these Star Power. This is like the harder to pull one. And then one of my favorites from 98 is the Prime Twine. There's the McDice of the Prime Twine. This is a very intricately cut cards. This is from Hoops. And these were out of 500. Is that right? Yeah, these are out of 500.
Those are so nice. That like laser cut thing. It's just, the detail is so cool.
Yeah, it's if I can get it really close because it has a lot of cuts on it. Very fragile cards. It's almost like if you touch them too much, they'll just fold in half or something. And then the last one I've got here is a metal fusion. And so I'm trying to see if I can get this to show.
Controversial. Is that die cut?
That's what I was going to ask you guys. Would you consider it die cut? Because it's little tiny holes that if you can see his face there, that's what makes up his face is just a bunch of little holes in the card. This variation being out of 250, and then they had a harder to pull one that was, can't remember that. I think the numbering is kind of random on that one.
Yeah.
But what would you consider that? Would you actually consider it a die cut or no?
So I feel like the detail that goes into that's probably technology that was very specific, and they must have had. I always assume some sort of specialized cutting machine or even like some sort of like laser engraving thing. I mean, they get a profile of a player using pinholes. It's incredible. I always just thought of it as like laser cut was anything within the card and die cut was anything on the perimeter of the card. So like if you think of those like O2 Stadium Beam teams, they have like I would consider that both die cut and laser cut, right? So anything within the card where they had to cut out or remove pieces of the card being laser cut. And I don't even know where I got that. Like I would say I'm making it up, but Carter's saying the same thing, right? So I don't know if that's like an old, like maybe back at the magazine lineage they used or something.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's not technically die cut because it's not like taking a chunk off the card. It's more or less just, like you said, it's a laser cut. That's literally probably what they did. But yeah, those are mine. I'm kind of a big 90s guy, so I know you've got some newer die cuts, Steve. And it looks like Joey, you got that pulled up, right? You want to share that, or you want me to?
Yeah,
cool.
Gotcha. Yeah, so these are some of Steve's die cuts that he kind of shared. This is the Rock Solid from 2016 Studio. That was a great set. That was like an homage to a 90s one, right? There's a 90s Rock Solid too. Is that right?
Something similar, yeah. I forget the reason I like this specific, and you're absolutely right. I remember when I put this whole set together, and I like this set checklist. It's a insert that has a theme, and it's all players that play with like a certain level of like strength and aggression. So it's like Shaquille O'Neal, Ben Wallace, LeBron James. Somehow Jay Crowder made it into it, but there's guys like Joakim Noah. Like there's players that were known for just being like tough, relentless players. So just a cool design. Kind of sort of a bolder look to it. Nice foil to it. I like that set a lot.
Yeah, why don't you take the reins and talk about the cards? Yeah. You tell us about them.
Yeah, you can randomly pull them up. So this I brought up just because it's not often that you get game use patches in a die cut card. So this is from 2014-15 Lux. They did this for both football and basketball. I think the insert set's literally just called memorabilia, but it's got a really unique die cut design, sort of almost like a kind of an hourglass or like a glass type shape to it. Just a lot of shape to it, a lot of curves. They're tough to get into a one touch, but once you do, they actually look great. So just shared this one more so for the fact that, one of the rare game use patch die cut sets out there.
Yeah, no, that's true. I was looking at some of like the thicker cards I had, and I was like, oh yeah, I can't even think of thicker die cut sets, but yeah, that's a cool one.
Revolution has a die cut set called Liftoff, and every year that Liftoff is in Revolution, it's a die cut set, and it's always a different shape and different design. So this is a dual. The year they did, so 2022, they had the Revolution WNBA. So this is Tatum and Dwan Bonner on the cubic parallel. But just this is my favorite insert from Revolution. I collect every year that Jason Tatum's in it. I get his Galactic Liftoff. So just a fun design, seeing them next to each other in a binder with all the very, very different shapes. It's not even a minor. Like there's some that are curved. There's some that are like, they're just a very dynamic set when you put them together. So just a fun set to collect.
Yeah, that's very cool. You've shown this one before, I think.
Yeah, we've talked about this set before. I just brought it up because, like I said, I mean, this is another one. Ryan brought up the Twine set. This is another one that you pick these cards up in your hand, they feel like they're just going to disintegrate. I think I joked when we talked about some of our top stuff that there might be more card removed than they gave you when you pulled one of these. So this is I think it's 02 Beam Team that has both. And I was going to bring it up to talk about the differences in laser cut and die cut, but we already did. And these are out of 500, even though they're relatively high print run. They're sneaky tough to get, and some of the premium players sell for some pretty good money.
Those are even flimsier than the Prime Twine.
I've never had a Prime Twine, so that's interesting to hear.
Well, they have the cut from top to bottom on those, so it's like extremely crushable.
Yes,
the only way I can explain.
And the card stock is almost like a thin plasticky feel to it, so it feels even less than like a thick cardboard. Yeah,
nice.
I do have the McDice of that, and it's definitely a little flimsier, but these are cool.
And then this is, I'm sure the stuff I'm not thinking about out there. I think this is like the premium Panini version of what a die cut is. This is 14-15 Excalibur Knights of the Round Table, and this uses the traditional Panini Knight logo, and they just put into a very dynamic die cut, tons of shaping to it. It's got like before kabooms were a thing, like a kaboom background with the foil on it. That all the cards are action shots. I believe there's different color backgrounds depending on the player team. So there's greens and blues and purples. I just think this is a very, very cool way to do a die cut, integrating like the brand, the player, the team into many aspects of the design. So I love these cards.
Yeah, I love those cards too. And it's unfortunate because I think like they just did that for a year or two or something, and then they stopped putting that kaboom effect on it.
Yeah.
They just made it like wood. I think the next year was like wood background, but no texturing, no design, no effect. So yeah, I have one of those from the following year, and I was a little disappointed relative to that year. Does anyone else have any die cuts that they brought and wanted to share? Anything, Ryan?
I brought a couple. I didn't know you had such a sneaky Spurs PC. How you doing over there, Ryan? Just want to.
Oh yeah, I collected Tim Duncan for like many years. I still kind of do occasionally, but yeah.
That 97, 98 Atomic is absolutely fire. That was great. I've never seen one of those. I don't want to call this in person, but I've never seen one of those in person. That was
the Star Power Supreme. Yeah. Well, see, so the reason, just a quick tangent, but the reason I went after Duncan kind of back in the day, even though Spurs have decimated Nuggets many times to my disappointment, but it was always like the Kobe that was popular, and then like LeBron was popular, and I'm like sitting over here, I'm like, I think Duncan's almost better than those guys. So why can I pick up his stuff for like 20 times less? And then I just started picking up stuff for a number of years. My original goal was to get all the Topps Chrome, and I finished that, and then it just kind of blossomed out into whatever I could find. So anyway, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's crazy sneaky to pick up, and super great foresight. Strong work on that. This was a pickup that I had from 0405. I was picking them up from retail, and I had actually pulled it from a retail blaster. The retail blaster cost me $20 at the time. I think there might have been another hit in the blaster as well at the time, so it wasn't that the jambalaya was the hit. But I'm actually a big fan. So that was great. And then I've got a competitive.
It was the XL too, wasn't it?
Sorry,
the jambalaya. That's the XL as well, isn't it?
It is. Is that different than the others?
Yeah, so Depp's in the comments right now, and he loves that set. But the foiling on it, instead of being flat, is like hollow. That's a way rarer version than the traditional jambalaya.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great feedback. I had no idea.
If you want to sell it for the cost of a regular jambalaya, I'm your guy.
That's the problem. I don't sell cards. I'm a collector. I'm no good at that part. This is a competitive advantage that I bought it from that same LCS gentleman that didn't want me, buying cards that had cut up jerseys. I sold him all my Pokemon cards, and then 10 years later, I walked in there and I saw this, and he gave it to me for so cheap. And now every time I walk in there, I remind him of that card. This is the Stardate 2021. I think it's from that same year as you were showing from the 97-98. So the second year of his second year of his playing. I love that he's got the number 8. I also love all that super die cut, the super circles and the big colors, the foil on it.
Yeah, those are cool.
Actually bought it after he passed. Just another eBay find. And then, of course, got to have the Jordan. This one came in, I think, a set of 3. It was really, I think, the first or second year for UD or UD3, whatever it was called back then. But this came in a set of 3. There was a middle one and then a far left one. Never been able to get my hands on the other ones, but
yeah, that's right. You could put them together. Yeah, I remember that.
And they make the arena.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Timeless Treasures had something like that. They had puzzle pieces. It was like 3 teammates who had puzzle that fit together like a puzzle piece, similar to that. Cool. Adam, you got anything, or die cut's not your game?
Yeah, I found a few. Oddly enough, one of them I already got spoiled by Ryan over there with the same card. But I did pull out a different one as well. That's why I was just grabbing, see a different variation of it. Elijah one. Nice. I really like these. Nice. Like the standard versions, like I think it's regular and plus, are okay. The Supremes are super cool in hand, I think. The Bowman's Best cuts.
Nice.
Atomic. Really like the way those look. And then the one that you were referencing before with Steve's Jay Crowder rock stars.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I really like those. I think they're pretty cool. They have a nice
shine. Those are great.
And then a couple like kind of classic 90s cards that aren't super rare but are pretty cool. Planet Metal, the Penny Hardaway.
Nice.
And then a titanium Sean Kemp. Kind of acetate and die.
Yeah, those are super cool.
Where's Abrat? That's one of his favorite cards.
Yeah, acetate, die cut, platinum foil. Oh my goodness, beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot to like there. I did have to at least grab one modern card, so kind of a throwback to the 90s Crown Royale sets.
The award winners, right? Or
yep.
Yeah.
Kramer's Choice Award winners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, twins over here. We got this one right there. So.
There you go.
Yeah. Hughes mentions the Stadium Club triumvirates too. I think as ones that come together, I don't know if that's correct or if
Yeah.
I got the Duncan. I'm looking
One
for
picture of
many,
like
many
three different
years.
players.
Yeah, and they'll make up the team. So I found the Illuminator version of the Duncan. Like I traded somebody for it like a couple of years ago. Those are awesome. Unfortunately, slabbed, but I need to find the other ones and put the whole like team set together. I can't remember who lined up with them. But,
I just got the Star Power Supreme from the 2012. I think it was an Upper Deck release.
Flare Retro.
Yeah, of Bill Russell.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Very cool. Do you guys mind? I know we're past 7 already, but or 10, I guess, for Steve and Adam. But Q's Cardboard threw something in the chat.
Let's finish with that. I think that's a good one.
Yeah. So another topic he had is what to do when you're feeling hobby burnout. So that's a topic that's been on his mind. I don't know if anyone in particular wants to start us off. Steve, I feel like it's been, or Ryan, you
buy game consoles and you mess around with retro games. That's what I do.
I was just keep it short since I already wasted too much time on it. You end up buying Disney cards with your wife.
There you go.
But I agree with you, Adam. I mean, if you were to I've talked about it here. I mean, I'm primarily searching for WNBA and Marvel cards right now, and I'm not buying a ton of them. I also really enjoyed going through my PC and pulling stuff out to sell. And other Ryan, you said you don't sell cards, and like to each their, like I'm not judging that at all, but I did enjoy making space. And I've talked about I try to keep things very consolidated. And now I have some money to play with, and whether that ends up being more cards or I take a trip or I give some to the family fund, like I did enjoy going through and thinking about what means something to me? What do I want to keep? What if I just simply own and had in a box for 5 years, 10 years? What can I go through my binders and find that? I honestly had no idea that a Paul Pierce, last time I checked the Paul Pierce Kaboom and the like other Kaboom hype was going, like they're in the National or whatever a year or two ago, the Pierce was still only $90. I was like, oh, well, I'll just keep it for $90. And then I looked this time and I'm like, whoa. So I started doing dives on, I sold a, from down a 2016 studio downtown Isaiah Thomas, right? Like all of a sudden that was a multi-$100 card. So yes, getting money is fun, but also like going through my PC and really figuring out what still means something to me. What do I want to move? And then just finding other ways to collect. And for me, it's Disney cards. For me, it's Guardians of the Galaxy cards. But I definitely resonate with the burnout factor. There's a lot of stuff that's just not super engaging about the hobby right now.
Pineapple tennis refractor is another alternative. Yeah, love it.
What happens when you get burnout at your job? When you get burnout at your job, you're like, oh, this job is so hard. I'm burned out. You still got to work a job. You still got to do a job, right? So that's totally how I look at my card collecting, where it's like, hey, you know what? I'm burned out. I do not want to rip. I'm going to buy singles. I do not want to buy singles. I'm going to organize. I do not want to organize. I'm going to stand fast, it's basically gotten me through all those momentary hiccups of, hey, you know what? I'm not getting the level of value out of this that I want. So I'm going to focus on something else. So your guys' points are perfect. But I love to organize my stuff too. All those boxes behind me are all rookie cards of no-name players because all the good players are all sorted out to the front, which for some reason, even if you do collect that year and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not the top rookie that year, you still wind up with less Shai Gilgeous-Alexander cards over time. I don't know the math on that. But that's totally the math. And yeah, so I've got a bunch just sitting there, and but it's the organization factor and being able to, use that therapeutic side of what I enjoy, which is the organization. And then I watch these, for lack of a better term, and I hate saying it like this because it's going to make me sound cranky, but I like watching these kids grow up and, do things on the basketball court that are amazing. Last night, it's amazing that 5 people have sat here and didn't say anything about last night's finals game. I've been a basketball fan for almost as long as I've been alive, maybe a little longer. And somehow I was blown away. I watched that game twice because I've never had the opportunity to see something like that. And again, I've surrounded myself with basketball. My wife sat there with me 6 hours we watched basketball, and it was amazing. And I've got no horse in the race. So I'm glad Wemby is going to have to, face some adversity. That's kind of what this is. And if he overcomes, he overcomes. Good for him. He's done such amazing things, but it really looked like the Knicks just had it last night. I just thought it was crazy that 5 of us stood here and didn't say anything about it.
I was thinking about that, actually. I was like, okay, if we're going to start with that, we'd probably be sitting here in an hour and a half in at this point. That was my thought. I was like, do we get into it? Because, yeah, it was a crazy game. Same thing with the Ryan. I have no skin in the game. I just like watching fun basketball, and that was about as fun as you can get. So it was pretty amazing.
I hate the Knicks, so I just was pissed off. That's where I was at.
I found I hate De'Aaron Fox, so I'm ecstatic today.
But did you see the meme of you can leave Sacramento, but Sacramento never leaves you?
I did not see that. Yeah, he's getting a lot of hate on Sacramento Kings Reddit today. So
And he deserves all of it. What a bonehead move from the veteran on the team.
dude. Yeah. I am so fortunate. I have not watched maybe a handful of minutes of basketball the entirety of the postseason. And it happened to be last night when I went to visit a friend and her husband that just had a new baby. And we were like, let's watch the game together. And we just watched the game and had dinner. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. I'm so lucky that this is the game of the entire postseason that I got to sit and watch. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it was an incredible game, incredible comeback, some incredible heroics by the Knicks, some boneheaded stuff by the Spurs. It was very entertaining watching Charles Barkley last night on the postgame. But I guess I agree, Ryan, with what you said about kind of just shifting to other things. Like I've personally found myself, and I don't know if Q's cardboard is particularly like burnt out with anything, but I found myself in recent months, and I know Mind Cycle, Ryan, like you way, and I don't know if you still feel this way, but I've been really burnt out with the online hobby, like social media and all that stuff. Even like a lot of podcasts and YouTube channels and stuff. I was like, man, I just don't care about what PSA is doing, and I don't care about like what cards are what value. And so I've watched less and listened to less card stuff and been on social media less than I have in a year or two, probably. Just because like I don't care about that, and that's all that's out there pretty much. But shifting your attention, yeah, like maybe you're sick of. I found myself sick of scrolling through eBay, so I haven't bought as many cards, and maybe that means I'm like organizing cards more, or photographing cards more, or just looking at cards more. Or I think what like Ryan and is just shifting away from cards in terms of like how you spend your time. Like Ryan's playing video games. I've been reading over more books, which is like very refreshing. So yeah, just like whatever. But it's ironic that kind of all of us here on like a basketball card trying to be focused on basketball cards are very seemingly burnt out. I don't know if it's a cause for concern for us or what, but yeah, I don't know if anyone has any other thoughts on the burnout stuff.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to be grumpy about it. So I'm here to stay.
Not burned out. Not burned out. In fact, just to throw this up for Adam, I did have one more, and I wasn't gonna. It's a Chet Holmgren. It's a Chet Holmgren die cut. It's rookie number to.
Nope. See, I'm just gonna for shits and giggles. It's not an insert. It's a parallel. Get that out of here. He asked about inserts only. We're not going to parallels.
Oops.
Oh man.
All right. Anyone else have anything to throw in there about these topics or otherwise?
No, I was just going to say, Joey, just to throw in one last thing, I would probably not be around Instagram. I feel the same way as you, nearly as much as it wasn't for you guys and a couple other group chats. I've almost gone back almost only looking at messages, and that's it. I just hate, the direction things have gone, and have kind of been disappointed over the past couple of years. But just talking to you guys, talking to other people, I think this podcast is good too that we do. because it gets you thinking, it gets you like in the mindset of like, oh, there is a bunch of other stuff out there besides just hearing about PSA or golden auctions or, you know, all this stuff that like makes my blood boil. It's like, oh, there's actually people that collect stuff, and there's some things that I could go after that I forgot about, you know. So I think, you know, what we're doing is good, and yeah, you'd see me disappear a lot more if it wasn't for that. So thanks.
Yeah, I wouldn't say burnt out either, other than just disenfranchised with a lot of like the modern stuff. But like that doesn't bother me either, because I don't realize I do it, Ryan. But same as you, I go on Instagram and I'll like hit up Adam or hit up you guys. I have a lot of like stuff, like I have all Fanatics and PSA blocks, so people bring up like stuff that's going on, and I don't even know about it. But I also don't care. Like I just don't care, right? Like I want to. Like see Adam post a Darkwing Duck rainbow, like literally puts a little smile on my face the whole day. I'm like, oh, it's cool. Like that's fun to see. Or like to go in and see, you know, Kyle and Small Town Cards, you know, arguing with each other over, you know, Pascal Siakam's value in the NBA is like fun to me. And so, and then I have a mail day probably 2 or 3 days a week, and yeah, it might be a $2 WNBA card or a $10 patch card, but it's still fun for me. And you know, one of the trips I might take this summer is to go to a show. And go see some people, whether that be up to you in Anaheim, Joe, or down to Dallas, the WNBA. We'll see, right? So I'm not burnt out on it. I do think it takes a little more work to find how to engage. Whereas like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you went to Blowout, you went to Beckett, you went to Instagram, and there was just a tailor-made community there for you. So it's just a little bit more work, I think.
All right. Well, on that note, if I'm glad that for all of us here, this is kind of being here every week is a helpful thing, and trying to scratch our hobby itches. Hopefully it's the same for a couple other people out there too. But hope that everyone has a good week, and hope we enjoyed the conversation today, and we'll see you all next week, everyone.
See you guys.
See you guys.
Be well, everyone.